What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Shuggy from Shook Earth Media, and we're back again with yet another amazing, brilliant episode of Better Call Saul. And we got a little bit of something I wasn't expecting, which is a full black and white Gene episode. Last week, I thought that we were getting more in the Breaking Bad years. I actually thought, if you watch my last video, that it was the Breaking Bad years. It turns out it was actually a few years earlier. The flash forward last week was in 2005, not 2008 when Breaking Bad takes place. So I was wrong, okay? I gloated about being right in the last episode. Now I'm going to admit that I was wrong, okay? That's what I'm doing. I got a lot of corrections, and I appreciate you guys keeping me on my toes and making sure I get everything right. I really appreciate that. So we start off this episode with Carol Burnett here. For those who don't know, she was a famous comedian. I believe she was the first female comedian to have her own variety show. Famous before my time, but my parents know who she is. And apparently it's like one of her favorite shows. So that's how she made, I don't know if she like asked to be on the show or how that ended up happening, but I thought it was cool. She's got good comedic timing here. She gets some funny lines, but basically this is picking up from the previous Gene scene that we got, where Gene was recognized in the mall by somebody who used to live in Albuquerque. So that's what this episode is about. And here we see Jimmy back up to his old tricks. He is scamming her, okay? And I knew right away that it was a scam. She's driving her little scooter, and then she says, hey, there wasn't snow here just a second ago. And then you see Gene there. I was like, okay, he's scamming her. What is the angle? What is the scam about? I wouldn't think that he'd be back up to his old tricks without a good reason, but I had not yet made the connection to the previous Gene season that we got. So he's got this fake poster of this dog that is supposedly his, and really it's just all a ruse to get this lady, Marion, to let Gene drive her home. He offers to help push her through the snow, and then he snips the wires. And then he, of course, helps her get home after she realizes that she can't drive. So I was instantly like, what an asshole. Fucking Gene, what are you doing? I can't believe that Gene is still doing this. And we got a nice twist with the intro scene. Of course, the intro scenes, as we all know, are representative of how Gene in the first episode of the series, or one of the first episodes, I believe it was the first episode of the series, he was on his couch watching old tapes of his former career and former life. So in this episode, we get an emotional scene that Gene reveals a little bit more than I think he wanted to. So we're going to get to that later, but I really like the clever twist here. And of course, as the seasons have gone on, it's gotten more and more degraded. And here we got the title card that is like an old VHS tape. For the kids that don't know what this is, that's a VHS tape, okay? We didn't used to have DVDs, all right? That was a new thing at one point. Even in my lifetime, see, I remember. So, I instantly, I'm loving that we're in post-Breaking Bad years. I've been curious if we're going to get back to this, and they've been teasing it that it was really just kind of a bonus thing, but I think, I don't know if all the last 4 episodes, there are 3 more after this, I believe, I don't know if we're going to keep going with Gene, or if we're going to go back and forth in time. I'm beyond curious about what's going to happen next. But this is the taxi. This is the guy that recognized Jimmy Saul from Albuquerque. So he is here, and he instantly knows something is wrong. So he comes in the back, and Jimmy's there. Saul, Gene, whatever he goes by these days. And oh, the credits are coming up. I just want to mention that this episode is directed by Michelle McLaren, who directed a lot of episodes of Breaking Bad, the most of anybody, I'm pretty sure. And she directed a couple episodes, but it was nice to see that the GOAT is back. She's directed some of the best episodes, so it was great to see her back. And I love that they gave her an episode that wasn't as like action-packed as she was known for in Breaking Bad. They gave a more thoughtful episode with a lot of different schemes that Gene is cooking up. So this here is Saul admitting to this guy that he is Saul Goodman, And his scheme is that he wants to bring this guy in on some crimes with him in an effort to silence him. And what is fascinating about this is it, just like the Howard situation where Jimmy went through so much effort in order not to kill Howard, they could have easily solved the problem with Howard with a bullet. Like they killed Howard, the whole scheme would have ended up working anyway. So this is another situation where if Saul was a worse person than he is, he would have just murdered this guy straight up. But he's a criminal, he's scummy, but he's not evil, which I think the nuance here of the characters is really good, because of course, you know, we in Breaking Bad, so many of our situations would have been solved by this. In the last season with the stabbing, we got Walt, you know, doing the ordering all these murders. So if Jimmy was more like Saul, or more like Walt rather, he would have just killed this guy and been done with it. It would have been a lot quicker, but he's not that kind of guy. So we get this scene, he goes back home again, and every time we see him in this house, it's just sad, man. And he's really sad. He pulls out the box of memories that he has hidden away, and he pulls out Marco's ring, and he wears it. And I think that's symbolic, of course, of the scammer part of him coming back. And of course, he really enjoys this stuff. He lives for this. He loves doing these scams. I think like how Walt was like, I did it for me. That's Jimmy. Jimmy does these for him. This is what he lives for. He enjoys this. Kim as well. So I like bringing back Marco. And then we get a great montage scene. It's an interesting setup. I wasn't quite sure where we were going with this right away, but he basically befriends the security guards, who one of the security guards was in a previous scene where they basically have beef, but he squashes the beef here with Cinnabons, of course. Cinnamon buns. The fastest way to a man's heart is through Cinnabons, so he brokers this friendship. And then we get a great montage scene after this initial setup. And I like that, you know, the security guard guy is interested in talking about sports, and Jimmy obsesses over learning about sports so that he can do this scam. So I like that we are one step behind at all times, and we're figuring out what's going on. So it would have been no fun if we knew everything going in. So it's really fun to see it pieced together, and they take their time with this. So I really like the execution, and Jimmy times the guy, how long it takes the guy to eat the Cinnabon, how long he stays distracted. So it's a brilliant scheme, and he does this, it seems like every day for a long while. I don't know exactly how many days the montage represents. It's a little ambiguous. I would guess at least a week or two. So we get the repeating images. We get the same maintenance guy. We get him going up the escalator, him visiting the security guards. And as time goes on, they are eventually just letting him in before he even has to knock. This is him reading about sports so that he can better converse with this guy and distract him. But we did a really cool montage scene with this split screen stuff. And of course, with Breaking Bad, the montages are some of the best parts. Of course, there was a little shot there that you could have seen with SG was here. He was locked out at one point in one of the previous seasons. That emergency exit on the screen there. He was there throwing the trash out. He got locked in there, and he did that. SG was here. Saul Goodman was here. Of course, he wants to be Saul Goodman again. I don't think he's happy with his life right now. So I really like this montage here, and usually they don't do split screen stuff, but it's really cool. Like I know how much time they spent on this. It's a lot of shots to get, so it's like a couple minutes of the scene, but they must have spent like a full day on this. Like it's a lot. And here we find out what the actual job is, the actual robbery happening. Jimmy's in this department store, and he counts the steps, and he measures, and he writes down where everything is, and he measures it out, and he draws it, and he uses his drawing to make an obstacle course so that they can do a practice run of this job, and letting the guy run the track. So he knows he has to run this in 3 minutes and 15 seconds or whatever it is. And they have a whole mnemonic system to help him remember. So like it's a rhyming thing, like counting. I don't remember them off the top of my head, but I really like the dynamic here. And then the guy starts questioning whether or not he wants to actually do the job. And then this younger guy, who I don't know if we've seen him in a previous episode, definitely somebody let me know, the younger guy who's also part of this scheme here. And this guy's about to walk away. He's not comfortable with it. And then this guy's like, I'll do it. And I wonder if Jimmy told him to say that. I wonder if that was like part of this guy's reason for being here. And I wonder if Jimmy's been up to other shady stuff while he's out here. I'm curious now. I mean, he was really quick to be able to pull this all together. So I love the black and white, and picking it at wintertime as well was very smart. And I mean, I think the winter time is symbolic as well. I mean, it's the opposite of the desert landscape we usually get. It looks similar, but we got trees, but the snow is it looks like sand in black and white. So I really like the opposites there. In this scene, in this very scene, he uses the phrase hot. He says, "This is too hot for you." And hot for you, meaning that it's illegal, it's sketchy, it's risky, but hot temperature-wise mean representing Albuquerque and both of their time there. Because apparently the taxi guy we learned from Marion later also had a shady past in Albuquerque, which is probably how he knew who Saul Goodman is. So the symbolism of the winter time is very specific. They picked this time of year for a very good reason, and I think it was really smart. And the decision to shoot the whole episode in black and white, I think they locked themselves in that earlier. I don't think they had to do it, but I think it really pulled off well. I like that it's a black and white episode. So, and this, the seeing the scam come together was so perfect. Of course, you know something is going to go wrong. And before we even start seeing the scam, they're looking at a mark in the floor of the department store. And she says, "Oh, get maintenance up here." And now I see that. I think that means that maintenance is going to be there while they're trying to do the scam. But it actually ends up being even better. And I didn't even realize it. Of course, you know something's going to go wrong. So it's a little predictable because, you know, it's if it went perfectly well, it wouldn't be interesting to watch. So she's like, we need to buff out this mark here. And that, of course, leads to issues later. But I love this scheme. They have them deliver a box that has the guy in it. So he's in there so that when they close the store, they close the gates, he's perfectly set. He doesn't need to break in. He's already done it. So, you know, they say it's a sprinkler system. I like the scheme. And the manager lady is very convincing as a manager. I'm like, I swear, I've seen her in real life be a manager. And Jimmy does the hands thing in the mirror. That's a callback. We got lots of callbacks in this episode. So, you know, he's dazzling the audience. So this part to me was rather intense. I was into it. I really, really like the tension and how the scene plays out. So it's fun to see him run through the store. And, you know, I was like, dude, did they really need to add so many steps to this thing? Like, I guess he needs them to take enough that this guy feels like it's worth it. So, but I love the cinematography here and the staging of everything, this nice symmetrical shot here, because it's a symmetrical shot because things are going well. And then later on, when things aren't going as well, we get less symmetrical as it goes. So, you know, and this scene's fun because Jimmy at this point knows a lot about sports, and even the guy picked up on it. He's like, wait, you remember all these things? So I like this scene. I love the schemes in this show are by far my favorite part, which, you know, I was hoping for that when we started this series, and it's even better than I thought it was going to be. So, of course, the wax thing comes into play as he's about to leave, and he slips and falls, hits his head. The plan is almost ruined. Jimmy's like, is this guy dead? Because he knows that if the guy turns around and sees somebody on the screen, he would be like, Gene, why didn't you say anything? Like, you're looking at the screens right now. You would tell me, right? So I really like that Jimmy is forced into this corner. He's got to think of something. He's got to think of something. And what does he do? He tells the truth. Again, here it is with the truth telling. Okay? He told the truth an episode ago about how he felt towards Howard, how there was always this jealousy that Howard had Chuck's respect. And here, and that wasn't received well. He told the truth, it didn't work. Here he tells the truth, and it actually does work. He reveals how he's really feeling, I think. I mean, he's definitely very guarded. He's hiding, he's burying all this stuff, but he's basically kind of he's pretending to break down, crying, saying he doesn't have anybody, his family's dead, his brother's dead, and he doesn't have a wife, and we know that's true. We've seen him at home watching his old tapes. This is a sad, sad man. So I think it's real. I think it's real, and he gets the guy to continue looking at him. Perfect timing. Like, the guy turns around a couple times, and Jimmy's like, look at me. And I mean, it comes off authentic to the security guard because it is authentic, I think. So, it worked out perfectly. And then this guy spends the rest of the night in the bathroom. Part of me was like, I thought he might go in the box, but of course the box is full of stuff at this point, so that doesn't make sense. But yeah, I think this plan was really funny. But part of me is like, would somebody check the bathrooms in the morning? I've never worked at a department store. I don't know. But either way, I like this scheme. I love that emotional resonance came out because of the desperation of the scene. So I think it really worked. Really, really worked. And then we get to see the guy wake up. And we saw him like stumbling a bit because he has a head injury, a concussion. So I like the realism of seeing his injury there. And he's even now like a bit dazed. But we hear that the guy is there to pick up the box. And the plan has succeeded. And nobody got caught. And it's all well and good. And then we get the final scene that kind of caps off the whole scheme here. And Gene basically lays down the law and explains, as a lawyer would do, all of the consequences for their actions if they got caught. And he even went the extra mile to have the guys pick up a truck from across state lines so it becomes a federal crime and has mandatory minimums that are even higher. So he's said mutually assured destruction because he knows this is his way of buying the guy off. He basically gives the guy what he wants while also letting it be known that if he turns on him, it's going to turn right back on him. So I really love the scheme and it works out perfectly, and I think it made perfect sense. And I'm very curious to see what else there is with the Gene storyline. I like that Marion comes in at the end and they have to act all innocent. That's funny. That's great. And then the last scene is Jimmy back at the department store after closing the Cinnabon one more time. So this is Jimmy in the department store, aka Saul, aka Gene, of course. And he's looking at an old suit like what he would have worn and a very ostentatious tie. And he ends up putting it back. So I think this represents, he was trying it on. He was like, I was Saul again for a day and it was fun, but I'm putting it back. I'm not going to go back to my old ways, or at least that's what he thinks in this moment. So I think he's going to get dragged deeper into it. Something is going to happen, whether that guy gets caught again or what, I don't know. But I'm really curious to see where it's going. And the preview, we haven't been getting real previews for the next week. But it's, again, a black and white shot. And it shows a car at Crossroads. So I think that's symbolic of what's going to happen next episode. In the sense of Gene at a crossroads deciding whether he wants to become Saul again. Or what? I don't know. Maybe he's on the run again. Something's going to happen. I can't wait to see what happens. And I almost forgot, but there was one line of dialogue earlier when he was talking to Marion again, where he says, after all that, a happy ending. And immediately, I was like, Nope. No, that is not happen. There is no way we're getting a happy ending on this show. I don't think it's happening. I just can't see it. Every Breaking Bad character has had their karma come back to them at some point. Walt, of course, died at the end. Jesse was able to survive, but he only did so through suffering by the torture in the last season. So I don't think Gene's not getting away scot-free. At least he's got to sacrifice something, probably his life. So I'm very curious about where we're going. Let me know your theories in the comment section down below. I'd love to hear from you. But before we go, I just want to address last week I put a spoiler in the thumbnail. It said Kim divorces Jimmy. Now you guys got to understand, I could see my analytics, and in previous videos about Better Call Saul, most of my viewership was coming from people searching for the episode or a review of the episode. So the people that finish watching the episode, they want to see what YouTubers think. That's why I upload it the same night. I'm trying to get people that are interested in the show and want to hear other people's opinions of it. So I didn't think that that video would get recommended as much as it did. So I ended up spoiling the episode for some people, and I do regret that. I'm sorry that that happened. That's not my intention. Of course, we cover spoilers in these videos. It's a recap. So it's made for people that have already watched the episode, or at least decided that they're not going to watch the episode and just want to watch somebody else cover what happens in it. So that's just an explanation of why I put the spoiler in the headline. I'll keep that in mind from now on. I'm still going to be covering spoilers. I mean, I had this struggle with Fear the Walking Dead. There's an episode where Alicia got bit, and I put that as the headline because I didn't know what else to say. It's like, that's what the video was about. So I have to find a middle ground, but there will be spoilers in headlines and stuff for my videos. So I'd say avoid YouTube the night of Better Call Saul if you're getting recommended my videos. So basically, I'm going to try to avoid major spoilers, major character deaths and stuff. That's why I didn't put Nacho dies as the headline when he died. So I don't know. I'm trying to walk a middle ground, but I appreciate you guys' feedback. And a lot of people are mad at me, but I get it. I get it, you know. So anyways, guys, that's all I have to say for this week. I'm looking forward to next week. We got 3 episodes left. I cannot wait to see what happens to Gene, aka Saul, aka Jimmy. The man has lived many lives. But I'd love to hear from you in the comment section down below. Definitely sub if you want to see more Better Call Saul content, and definitely hit the like if you like. And I hope to see you guys in the next video. And with that, it's been your boy Shuggy, and I'll see you guys in the next one. See you later, everybody.